Never fear, Eric is here. So, um, the first half is finished. First half in parentheses because they've played 92 games, I think it is. Maybe it's 95. I think it's 95. I'm recording this after the Home Run Derby. The All Star game is tonight. Just giving you a where we are in terms of the season. So, this has been the season of all time for the Atlanta Braves. 53 and 42 is not in the slightest where you don't want to be. Second in the NL East and first in the wild card while having a big hole on that wild card is certainly a lot. But the problem is the Braves have been more or less walking this tightrope of when will the pitching fall through for the first months of the season. Chris Sale has been phenomenal. Ronaldo Lopez has been good. Max Fried's been Max Fried. And Charlie Morton has been serviceable. However, when is this pitching going to fall through? Because we're all waiting for that shoe to drop because the offense has been dreadful. I think it's been pretty well documented, so I'm not going to beat the dead horse on it. But the Braves have a team wide OPS of 709, 700 being the league average. The stars aren't starring, and there's been a good bit of bad luck, quite frankly. And also, you cannot leave out the fact that the Braves have been bitten relentlessly by the injury bug. Players taken down to injury for either the entire season or just a certain amount of time in the season are as followed: Spencer Strider, Ronald Acuna Jr., Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, AJ Minter, Ozzy Albies, Michael Harris II, and Tyler Matzik. So it's been essentially like this. Over and over and over again. But there have been bright spots because if there weren't bright spots, this team would legitimately be under 500. Matt Olson was hot for about a month and showed us some glimpses of what he was last year. Marcelo Zuna has been very good and, in fact, has returned to the All Star game for the first time since 2017. Ronaldo Lopez has been a very shocking surprise because the guy is still a sub 2 ERA with an expected ERA of about a 4.34. Don't look at his baseball savant page. It's not pretty. Chris Sale has been dominant in a word. If they gave out Cy Young awards for the first half, Chris Sale would have it in the bag. Max Fried has been very good, apart from maybe one or two starts. Jared Kelnick has emerged as a pretty good outfielder. Granted, he's hit a wall here towards the second half, but I don't think anyone's really losing their minds about it. And finally, Spencer Schwellenbach has come up and really solidified that fifth spot in the rotation, which I think a lot of people expected of him. But the fact that he's able to actually do it is really awesome. But again, the Braves sit at 53 and 42, second in the NL East and number one in the wild card. And I mean, you could certainly be worse. But herein lies the issue. The Braves need depth and they need a bat very badly. Adam Duvall, even though he seemingly woke up towards the end of the first half, still is not a guy you want to throw out there every day. Jared Kelnick's eventually going to need some help out there. I mean, he, like I said, he did hit a wall towards the end of the second half, or the first half, rather. So get him some help out there. I think he's earned an everyday role, but you just need bench depth. Adam Duvall has not been great, even if he's on a streak right now. And no, Eddie Rosario is not the answer to that. Neither is Jock Peterson. Neither is Jorge Soler. Can we please get over 2021? But what has loomed over this season, really since the Acuna injury, is what is Alex Anthopoulos going to do at the deadline? Because I agree, we do need another outfielder, but let's not get the band back together for 2021. There are a crop of new people out there that we should consider looking at. And really, we don't need sluggers. We need people who get on base. The team wide OBP sits at a 304, and they're only slugging 405. So it's going to be hard to find the sweet spot of OBP and slugging percentage. But look, that's why Alex Anthopoulos gets paid more than me. There are a few people that I've been keeping an eye on, but also there honestly aren't like big names. Back in 2021, if people want to keep using that as the rubric, Jock Peterson and Jorge Soler were names. Jorge Soler had had a great season with Chicago and a little bit with the Royals. And Jock Peterson, excuse me, Jock Peterson had been a rookie star and a pretty productive player for the Dodgers for many years before he was waived. Some guys that I've definitely looked at in passing, not a big, not even diving into everything about them, but certainly keeping my eye on them. Gavin Sheets, JJ Bleday, those type of guys are what we need. Gavin Sheets' underlying numbers look pretty dang good. The only thing with Gavin Sheets is he's under control until 2026. And I mean, that's honestly probably when you can bet for Ronnie to be a full recovery and if they even want to put him in the outfield again. JJ Bleday has been a troubled prospect with the Marlins, and now with the A's, he has unlocked something. His OBP's getting up there, and he has a good launch angle sweet spot looking for him. So Alex does have his work cut out for him, but bright side things on the trade deadline side. I do think if the Braves want to pull the trigger on a couple of big ones, they certainly have the prospect capital to do it. Brent Rooker is definitely always somebody to look at. The only thing with Brent Rooker is he's a right-handed bat, and I don't know how the Braves see Adam Duvall right now. But before Ronnie was injured, he was just a strict platoon. I'm fine with Adam Duvall going back to the bench, and Brent Rooker fills that kind of slugger type. He had a down year, but now he's starting to heat up a little bit. I think he's at 20 home runs at the break now. So he's definitely an idea. I think he would still drive a pretty hard price from the Oakland A's. Also, someone to look at, Randy Arozarena. The Rays have been very disappointing this year, sitting at 48 and 48, fourth in the AL East, just above the middling, struggling Toronto Blue Jays. You can definitely look there, but again, Tampa's going to want a big haul for that. So again, this is going to be something where Alex has to tightrope on the margins to find pieces to rebuild an outfield. Michael Harris should be coming back soonish. He's been running and working out. He actually hasn't gone out for a rehab assignment yet, so I would expect that he's probably still going to come back maybe first week of August, maybe last week of July. So the outfield is a mess. You not only need to fill really two positions because we're not sure how long Michael's going to take to get back. We don't want to rush him at all, but also we want to build depth in the bench, which is something that we don't have. That week and a half where I had to watch Zach Short, Forrest Wall, and Luke Williams take at bats in big spots nearly gave me an aneurysm. So you definitely have things to look out for. But something else to look out for. Let's bring up the other elephant in the room with the Braves, and that's the shortstop position. Orlando Arcia has been positively dreadful this year. This year he's accounted for a 57 WRC plus. And if you need a reminder, 100 is league average. And I don't care what Orlando does with the glove, that's unacceptable. Even if Orlando sat at like a 90 WRC plus, I would be fine with it. But 57, it literally is a free out every time you go up there. I have been a staunch Orlando defender for a very long time. I was a defender of him with his incident in the playoffs last year. I was a defender going into this year, but he's got to fix something. The sauce is not there anymore. So that leaves a couple of options for shortstop. I mentioned Toronto. Bo Bichette is having a down year, but he does have a year of control left, I believe. So that would still be a big swing, and I don't even know if Toronto wants to sell. So if they do want to sell, you're going to have to pry it from their cold, dead hands, right? Paul DeYoung out of the White Sox is also someone to look at who's had a good season, but if you look at the peripherals, it's not great, and also he can't play defense over there. And then you have the in-house option. Nacho Alvarez Jr. has gotten so much buzz all the time because he's in AAA and he's hitting well. I understand that AAA does see a lot of guys who are rehabbing, or it sees a lot of guys who are, the sixth, seventh, and eighth options of a major league roster. But here's the thing: I just don't think he's ready. I could be completely wrong, but I really don't want to see Nacho this year unless we've really locked it up and want to try something in late September. His defense at shortstop is okay, but is it major league level? We don't know. I don't know how the organization sees him on the field exactly. I don't know if they see him as a future third baseman or a future shortstop. The only window I see for him in the big leagues, at least with the Braves, is at the shortstop position. So if he can't play shortstop or if he can't continue to hit Gwinnett pitching or AAA pitching, there's no point in bringing him up. Right now, he has a 787 OPS in AAA with 6 home runs. So, not bad. But again, AAA pitching. Leave him in AAA. Let him get essentially a full year down there because, I mean, it won't be a full year because he did spend a couple months in Mississippi. But let him get some more reps in AAA. And then we'll bring him up in spring. We'll see if he can take the job away. I would really love people to cool the Jets. Seeing Nacho Alvarez in the big leagues this year, yes, would be cool. But again, I don't want them to hurt his development. So shortstop's a hole, left field is a hole, center field is okay that Jared Kelnick's there, and right field is also a hole. Alex has his work cut out for him. I think this is what we can expect for him at the deadline. 2 outfielders, one guy who can start, and one bench piece, and a reliever. Alex always gets reliever help, no matter what, he always does. And there might be an outside chance at a starter. I know that the Braves have had their eyes reportedly on Zach Eflin of the Rays. Granted, if anything is reported that the Braves are doing this, they probably are not doing it. Although it did get reported a lot that they were looking at Aaron Nola this offseason, and that was the one guy they really targeted. So, honestly, that's the recap. The Braves, again, are sitting at a pretty good spot. I don't think that a lot of people are going to be upset about it. Obviously, we are a little upset about it because we know that this offense and this team has much more potential. But here's a bright side going into the second half. The Braves own the best team-wide ERA after the Phillies got beat 18-3 by the Athletics. 8 home runs? Really? Oh my God. They're 8.5 back in a division that Philly has ran all season long because Philly has been super good this season. But look, the Braves always seem to find some extra fire come the second half. So staying afloat and even better than staying afloat in the first half is much appreciated. Again, we'll see what Alex does at the trade deadline, and at some point I'm going to try to narrow down some actual targets for the Atlanta Braves that I think would help them. But as for us here today, I think that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know content on the channel has been a little bit sporadic, to say the least. I am a little bit more active on TikTok right now because short form content is a lot more easy to make at this moment. But again, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end. Again, be sure to share with the Braves fan. Let them know what's going on as we enter one of the more exciting parts of the season. And I hope you have a good one.